The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. This is the Sportsocracy's 2021 win-loss projections for the NFC South. I am Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio, joined by Tommy Bradley, Panther fan extraordinaire. I'm going to be honest. I think this division is much more competitive than other people do.
Yeah, 100%. We kind of were all over the board with our win-loss projections for this division, which means it's going to be a good breakdown.
I had no better place to start than with the reigning Super Bowl champions. Ugh, it pains me to say that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio, joined by Tommy Bradley, Panther fan extraordinaire, and this is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2021 win-loss projection video from the Sportsocracy. Be sure to click the like and subscribe button so you'll know every time we go live, including weekdays at 9 a.m. for the Sportsocracy morning show. As always, brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Tommy, I have to do this. I know Mr. Spencer, our resident Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, is not here.
Oh, goodness.
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
You have a drop cut for you. I suppose you have to use it.
Yeah.
The voice of Tampa Bay Buccaneers, play-by-play guy, Gene Deckeroff. This is the reigning Super Bowl champions, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see a way they don't win this division.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that they're going to rack up a lot of wins and be good at the footballs this year.
I would say they will be very good at the footballs with Mr. Brady coming back for his second year in Tampa Bay. Looking at their schedule, I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't hate it. I just look at it and go, damn it, why is this a team that won the freaking Super Bowl and has a schedule that I just look at? I mean, really breaking this down, I don't see any way that they don't start hot and finish hot.
Yeah. They've got good stretches all throughout their schedule. There's no point in time that I really think like they're going to struggle, which I wouldn't anyway, no matter what their schedule is, because they are one of the best teams in the league. I think through the draft, like what it frees you up to do when you don't have a lot of holes is pick high upside guys, and that's what they did. I mean, getting Joe Tryon, who's an absolute physical freak, being able to get Robert Hainsey, as Tank always says, you know, lineman from Notre Dame, you can't go wrong. They always turn out well. And Jalen Darden, a guy that you're really high on.
I do love Jalen Darden.
As a receiver, KJ Britt in the linebacker core. So every year they, you know, just seem like they make good moves in the draft. As much as I hate it, being a Panthers fan, they're not only set up for success now, I think they're set up for success for a couple of years. As long as Brady's around, I'm sure I'm going to be hearing fire them cannons way too much, and they're going to be the class of the division as long as he sticks around.
There's going to be a lot of fire them cannons. By golly, put more stupid powder things. I look at Tampa Bay as no doubt they're the favorite to win this division by a lot.
Yeah.
Looking at your 2021 NFL projections, you have the Buccaneers at 13-4, winning the division by 4 games over your Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
And I can't say as though I really disagree with you.
Hashtag no homer.
You've got them going back to the Super Bowl, losing to the Cleveland Browns ultimately.
Yep.
Looking at my projection, I have Tampa Bay as the 1 seed in the NFC at 14-3. I do, however, have them losing to Washington in the divisional round of the playoffs.
Early.
I think Washington's the team they just don't want to see.
Yeah.
I think so long as you can avoid Washington, because they can do the one thing that really messes with Tom Brady, which is rush the passer.
Exactly.
I think they're if you put a gun to my head and said 10 times, if you played the season out 10 times, how many times do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wind up in the Super Bowl? I'd say no less than 3, but I'd probably go 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say how many teams do you really feel as good about as you do with Tampa Bay?
Not many, and I tried to be, you know, objective in mine, but I just can't get over, you know, how they came together towards the end of last year. I mean, it was their first year. You've got to go through those growing pains. They didn't even unleash Gronk until the playoffs. They're that good that they feel like they don't have to fully unleash all of their weapons and show everyone what they've got until the playoffs. They're completely building this around what Tom thinks is the best way to get through the year and win a championship. He's done it for so many years. He's the GOAT. No matter what you think of him, no matter how much you despise him, he's the GOAT. He's going to have his team in position to win every year, and this year's going to be no different. And I had them losing in the Super Bowl just because I'm hoping that some of the talent that the Browns have in the back end will be able to hold on to some of those receivers, make the Buccaneers a little more one-dimensional, let Myles Garrett get to the quarterback. So just to kind of switch it up, that's what I went with. But honestly, I can see Tampa winning it all again.
I easily could too. Tampa Bay, with Tank not being here, I can say this: this team is really, really good.
Yeah.
I undervalued them last year. I'm not going to do that this year. This is the class of the NFC South. I think they will win the division again and get to the playoffs. And with Tom, you can never count them out. For Tommy Bradley, I'm Jeremy Greene. This has been the Sportsocracy's 2021 win-loss projection for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Be sure to click like and subscribe so you'll know every time we go live, including 9 a.m. every weekday morning for the Sportsocracy Morning Show. As always, we're brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. All right, I got the being nice about Tampa Bay out of the way.
It hurt.
It
was
did hurt.
tough.
It did hurt. I don't want to do it again. I'm glad I don't have to do it again.
I hate being objective.
It sucks. Hashtag no homer. Speaking of no homer, let's talk about your team. The fighting Carolina Panthers. Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio. This is Tommy Bradley, Panther fan extraordinaire. And this is the Carolina Panthers 2021 win-loss projection video. As a guy that works for an ESPN affiliate in the Panthers market, I feel as though I am differently abled, as are you, to talk about the Carolina Panthers and their outlook for the 2021 season with new quarterback Sam Darnold.
Right. If looking at their schedule, if we didn't do it the way we did, that is an objective look at the schedule where you go week by week and pick the wins. I probably would have put the Panthers in the same range, but unfortunately I ended up having them losing the tiebreaker to the Vikings and not making the playoffs. But I could easily see them being a playoff team. If I am being objective about it, they're in the toughest division, I think. And even though, the Falcons do Falcon things, hashtag birds aren't real, and the Saints lost Drew Brees, I still think it's going to be competitive. Every game's going to be tough. Looking at their schedule, they've got some tough games on there. And I love what they did in the draft, but this is a team that's still building. They're in their second year, their first non-corona year with this staff. They've still got some things to work out. And I think they're going to make some big steps.
I would agree with you. I look at the schedule. When it came out, one of the things that I noticed almost instantaneously was that they finished the season with 2 games against Tampa Bay in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think that is really ugly.
And the Bills right before that.
Yep. The thing that I look, the alternate side of that is they open with the Jets, Saints, Texans, Cowboys, Eagles, Vikings, Giants, and the Falcons. I think this is a team that could start really hot. If I remember correctly, I had them starting at 5-3.
I think all of us looked around at each other and said, hey, do you have the Panthers winning 5 of their first 6 or 6 of their first 8?
And I mean, that's the thing about Carolina is looking at the schedule. The good thing about this is that it allows Sam Darnold to come in and learn the offense and not have that Tampa defense, for example, coming after him. So you'll have the ability to go up against a Jets team that's learning itself, a Saints team that I think is going to regress aggressively, the Texans, and that's on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
I just feel like the schedule did Carolina a lot of favors, and it's a team that I like anyway. I really don't look at this team and think that I don't think they're that far away. They're very young, and they need reps and they need snaps, and every game together is going to make this team just a little bit better. I also think you got to steal in Sam Darnold, and I'm telling you that as a Jets fan. I didn't want to move on from Sam. I think with weapons around him, the way that Carolina has with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, now Shi Smith, who they got in the draft, Terrace Marshall, there's just a lot of things to like about the weapons of this team. And having that with Sam, I'm a little nervous about the offensive line.
Yeah.
I don't quite know what you're going to do at left tackle. But other than that, you got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. You drafted Chuba Hubbard to take a little bit of the weight off of him.
Right.
There's a lot to feel good about going into the season with Carolina.
100%. And if you look at their games last year, I said it in the School of Rule episode we did a couple weeks back. They were 0-8 on game-winning drives. They didn't have a quarterback that you felt real comfortable with winning games at the end, but they were in a ton of games. Their record doesn't really reflect how competitive they were. They were competitive with the Chiefs. They went down to the wire with the Chiefs. The way the schedule works out, I don't love having a bunch of games that I think they can win in the beginning and none at the end, because if they do get into the playoffs, you don't want to be going into the playoffs losing 5 of your last 6. That doesn't give you a ton of momentum, but I do agree that it's going to give Sam some time to get acclimated with this team, the process, the way they're going to do things. I think if Sam can just be what we saw coming out of college and be able to push the ball down the field, get it into the hands of all these playmakers that the Panthers have, they're going to have to do that because the line's not great. They're going to be piecing together some pieces on that line. But I can definitely see them being in contention. I wish when I did my projections I would have got them in the playoffs, but, hashtag no homer, and it didn't work out that way. But I think they take big steps this year. I think they've got all the talent and the coaches in place to start making a run towards being competitive every year.
Speaking of your projections, you have the Panthers at 9-8, finishing as the first team out of the NFC playoffs. And I'll be honest with you, things break the right way, I could absolutely see them being the 7th team in the playoffs. You had the Vikings in. I know a lot of the guys on the staff have either had the Cowboys, the Vikings. One, I think, had the Bears, which blows my mind.
Wait, who?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy we picked up off the street.
Yeah.
Him. Yeah.
And then we took him back when he said he had the Bears.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
We had to cut him loose.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
Memories. Looking at my projections for the 2021 season, I have Carolina at 7-10. And a couple of these are really close games. I honestly could see Carolina finishing anywhere between 7-10 and 10-7. It's just going to depend on how quickly Sam Darnold acclimates to the offense. How many games do you win that you're supposed to win?
Right.
And can you steal a couple games that you're not supposed to?
Right.
I feel like they're clearly the second best team in this division. For me, it's not even close. They're 4 games ahead of the Falcons and the Saints for me.
Ooh.
There's no doubt they're the second best team in this division. And looking at it, I think there's a lot to be happy about with Carolina.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to take some time with Sam, but if you're patient and you've already given him the weapons that the Jets never did, miss you, Sam. I'll always love you.
Sam.
Yeah, his signature's in the studio twice. Need to get some stickers for that Jets helmet.
I have a feeling it'll be in here quite a bit more of the upcoming years.
Maybe find me some Panther stickers to make that white Jets helmet a white.
We'll be
Panthers
there
helmet.
week 1 if Sam wants to come holler at us, give us his appreciation for all the shout-outs he gets on the show.
Absolutely.
We'll be open. We'll be there.
We'll be sure to introduce ourselves so Sam and I can become new best friends.
Besties.
For Tommy Bradley, I'm Jeremy Greene. This has been the Sportsocracy's 2021 win projection for the Carolina Panthers. Be sure to click the like and subscribe button so you'll know every time we go live, including weekday mornings at 9 a.m. for the Sportsocracy Morning Show. As always, we're brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different.
Keep pounding, baby.
All right. This is the break, it seems like, in every division where we have 2 teams that are going to be very happy with what we say. And then there's 2 teams that we're going to piss off their fan base.
Mine was quite a bit different than everyone else's, so this will be interesting.
So we might as well slide right into the one we're going to piss off the least, the Atlanta Falcons. Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio, joined by Panther fan extraordinaire Tommy Bradley, and this is the Atlanta Falcons 2021 win-loss projection video from the Sportsocracy. Be sure to click the like and subscribe button so you'll know every time we go live, including 9 a.m. every weekday morning for the Sportsocracy Morning Show, brought to you as always by Wicked Weed Brewing. Tommy, the Atlanta Falcons are a team that we had a lot of dissent on. There are some people that think they're going to be markedly better, some people that think they're going to be about the same team they were last year. What say you, my Panther fan friend?
Look, the Falcons, hashtag birds aren't real, by the way.
Hashtag birds aren't real.
They always have a good offense. Like, I know Kyle Pitts is a generational tight end talent, but it doesn't really work out every year with these tight ends in the first round. I know he's different. He's a receiver. He still has to come up with, he has to do more blocking. He's going to have to figure out their blocking scheme. Arthur Smith, coming from Tennessee, he's a run-first head coach and a run-first coordinator, and he saw how well that worked out. So Pitts is going to have to come in and block, which I think he can do. They're still going to have the explosive offense with Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones. It makes me sick to my stomach thinking about all of the weapons that they have in Atlanta and how Carolina and these other teams are going to defend them. But they seem like they have that talent on offense every year, and the thing that breaks them is their defense. They can't ever hold anybody to enough points to where they're competitive every year.
And that's one of the questions that I have is there going to be even a regression to the defense losing Dan Quinn? Dan Quinn was, at the end of the day, still a smart guy on defense.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do nice things for the Dallas Cowboys defense. But I look at Atlanta's defense and say, you know what, there's guys to like here. I like Richie Grant that they got in the draft.
Oh, 100%.
I like some of these young guys that they have. It's just a question of can it come together. And one of the things that I noticed off the jump when the schedule came out, it starts awfully nicely. I mean, looking at their schedule, you start with lost my place there. Week 1, you start with the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's
about as nice of an opening week game as you could have.
birds on birds, by the way.
Hashtag birds totally aren't real.
Definitely not.
At Tampa Bay week 2, then you play the Giants, Washington football team, New York Jets before your bye. That Jet game's in London.
Yeah.
I just look at the schedule and there's too many Buffalo, New Orleans, or Buffalo, San Francisco,
Yeah.
New England, Dallas, Miami's on this schedule.
I mean, just that stretch. I mean, if they start out, 3-2,
And I think they could.
4-2, yeah, they very easily could. And the Falcons every year, it seems like they're Jekyll and Hyde. Some games they look like they're world beaters and they can go to the Super Bowl. And then other games that they should win, they completely don't have. Matt Ryan will have some turnovers. The defense can't hold anybody and they'll get blown out. You never know what you're going to have with this team. And I think Arthur Smith is going to come in and bring some more level-headedness, bring some more consistency to that program. I really do believe in him as a coach. But it really just depends on how many years they are away from making that defense a Super Bowl contender again. And, they always have talent. They always have young pieces. It's just how quickly can they get it together. And the main thing is, even with their schedule playing out pretty easy in the beginning, that division's tough. And it's how many wins can you steal? Can you steal a win both games with New Orleans? Can you steal a win from the Panthers? How the 2 games with the Bucs plays out. It's really going to be their season's going to depend on that divisional matchup.
I agree with you. I look at Arthur Smith and go, you hired the right coach. Yeah. I think you hired the right GM and Terry Fontenot. And you were talking about Kyle Pitts. I think they view Kyle Pitts as a wide receiver. You've still got Hayden Hurst that can block. I think they're going to run some 2 tight end sets with that. I do like Mike Davis in the backfield.
Arthur Smith loves the 2 tight end sets.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this team and go, yeah, I don't think they're that far away.
No.
You had them at 7-10, 2 games behind the Carolina Panthers in the NFC South. And I don't think I could easily see a path that it goes that way.
Yeah.
I see Atlanta as a team that could range anywhere from 5 wins to 9 wins. And it wouldn't shock me in the least.
Yeah.
Conversely, I've got them at 3-14.
Ooh.
Because I just look at the schedule and I don't know who I have them starting 2-3.
Yeah.
They beat Philadelphia, they beat the Giants.
Right.
And then they go about, I don't know, the rest of the season with games that I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah.
Either they come at weird times for the other team coming off buys, or you get like a New England on a Thursday night in the middle of the season.
Right.
I get Bill Belichick, you're on short rest. Who do you think I'm going to like?
Yeah,
I think if that game's on a Sunday, I can see a path where I take Atlanta. I'm not going to. Jacksonville in Jacksonville. I don't love Matt Ryan outside. I know it's Jacksonville. It's going to be temperate in November, but I just don't love Matt Ryan outside. I never have.
Yeah.
And I look at the entire schedule and just go, you didn't get done a lot of favors.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in spite of how high I am on Kyle Pitts, and I think they're building something, I think you're a year away from being legitimately competitive.
I can completely see that. I just don't see with what they added them falling off much farther than they've already been. I mean, they're consistently in that range every year in the South. I mean, everyone beats up on each other in the South. It doesn't matter how good of a team the Panthers have. It seems like every year they go play in Atlanta, Atlanta runs them off the field with their receiving core. And they're going to have the weapons to do that. You're going to have some games where teams should go into Atlanta and beat them, but in their dome, in their stadium, on that turf, they're going to be able to get the ball to Julio and Ridley and Pitts. You're not going to have enough defenders, skill player defenders to stop them. And yeah, you're going to have to get after the quarterback, and some teams can do that. But I feel like some teams are going to go down to Atlanta and really just get blown away by the talent in the first couple quarters and not be able to climb back in it.
And I agree with that. Every year I make a list of the 3 teams that I think I could be too low on and the 3 teams that I'm too high on.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons are on my I could be too low on them list. The teams, and I've got a pretty good track record of being right when I say I'm too low on a team. I look at the win-loss record, and that was one of the ones that I got to the end of the exercise, and I just went, that's not enough.
Yeah, people have to understand the way we do this is different than just looking at a team and going through their schedule. We have a complete spreadsheet where we go week by week, put zeros and ones in for wins and losses, and we don't know the total or the record until the end, till we get done and add it all up.
It's not added up till the end. So it's basically a blind draw.
Yes.
You cannot get swayed. You have to look at every individual game. You have to think about the scenarios as they're playing out in your head, and it tends to make you more accurate with how you pick games.
Right.
That being said, like I said, if there's a team in the NFC that I'm too low on, it's the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think there's a path where they're playoff competitive.
Right.
However, I do see a path where they are competitive. The record gets markedly better, and you see growth under Arthur Smith.
100%, and that's why I said that about the way we do things, because I have a feeling if you saw as you were doing it that the Falcons were ending up at 2-14 towards the end of the season, I feel like you would have tried to look at some things over and like gave them some more wins. But that's just the way it played out, and that's the way we do it to try to be objective. And I've done that with some teams. And I feel like the Falcons might have been one of those for you.
Hashtag no homer. For Tommy Bradley, I'm Jeremy Greene. This has been the Sportsocracy's 2021 win projection video for the Atlanta Falcons. Be sure to click the like and subscribe button so you'll know every time we go live, including 9 a.m. right here from the Wicked Weed Studios every morning for the Sportsocracy Morning Show. As always, we're brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Speaking of being too low on a team, this is a team that I'm either going to die on my shield and be wrong, or I'm going to be so right that everybody's going to come back to me and go, how the hell were you so right on this team? That team, the New Orleans Saints. Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio, joined by Tommy Bradley, and this is the New Orleans Saints 2021 win-loss projection video from the Sportsocracy. Be sure to click the like and subscribe button so you'll know every time we go live, including every weekday morning at 9 a.m. for the Sportsocracy Morning Show. Tommy, this is a team that I have been famously low on all year. I refuse to believe that you lose a first ballot, no doubt Hall of Famer quarterback in Drew Brees. Along with other pieces, you don't replace the weapons. You're going into a season with Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara as basically, which are high-level weapons.
Yeah.
But they're damn near the only weapons you have.
Exactly.
And you've got a quarterback that the last full season I saw him play through 30 interceptions. What say you on the New Orleans Saints?
I know you're definitely going to have some haters from Nolans with your record, and I think everyone was kind of with you on staff except for me. I think I might have been one of the highest on the Saints.
You were.
I just don't see the drop-off from the elite level team they were that was always in contention every year to being a 3 or 4 win team just because of Drew Brees. You saw them go 5-0 without him last year, and granted, they're not going to be as good. Like, you can't lose a first ballot Hall of Famer and still have the same productivity, have the same synchronicity that him and Sean Payton had with that offense. I think the main thing that you lost on defense, was Trey Hendrickson, who you said was one of the most overrated free agent pickups.
He was a cleanup guy.
With the deal that he had. I think if you put anyone opposite of Cameron Jordan, you're going to get some sacks. And they brought in Peyton Turner, a guy that you're high on. I don't know if you were as high on him as first round, but
no, that was a little too high for me. I mean, he killed it at the Senior Bowl, but I think that was a little too high.
Right. Personally, I had Pete Warner in the second. I thought was too high. I love Paulson Adebo from Stanford, good long corner. And then Hall of Famer, you can book it, Ian Book, one of Jeremy's all-time favorite players.
The Hall of Famer Ian Book. I'll answer that for you.
No.
No. But, so saying all that, I do think that, Jameis Winston, famous, I'm a Florida State guy, #no homer. I don't care how many crab legs he steals, how many W's he eats. I'm going to believe in him because I saw what he did at Florida State and taking my team to a championship. I know that his turnovers were insane his last year with the Bucs. However, he did throw for the most touchdowns as well, and I feel like after a year and a half of sitting behind Drew Brees, learning under Sean Payton and being in that system, I feel like he's going to come out and be a better quarterback for the time. Like he said, he turned down higher money starting jobs to go learn under that system. I'm interested to see how it pays off.
I do not believe he turned down starting jobs in the NFL. I don't buy it.
#fake news?
#fake news. I also look at this schedule and go, there's not a lot of wins here.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just go through it. Are you going to beat the Packers week 1?
Negative.
Hold on.
No.
Are you going to go to Carolina and to New England and beat them there?
Don't believe so.
No.
Hey, then you get the Giants. That's a win.
Yep.
Then you go at the Washington football team, at Seattle, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Negative.
No.
Then you there's a sweet little Falcons, Eagles. I mean, there's some wins in here, don't get me wrong. I just see a massive regression to the mean coming from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I know what you said about, the team regressing that much just because of Drew Brees. He was a 41-year-old quarterback, all of those things. Here's the thing. I don't disagree with any of that. The problem is that you're in such salary cap hell that holes pop up and you're not able to fill them. And so you're asking guys to do things that I don't necessarily think they can do. Plus, there is another big problem with this team that I think is going to rear its ugly head quickly. And the problem is that the beginning of your schedule is a lot nicer than the middle and end of your schedule.
Yeah.
You're really thin. So if you have a rash of injuries, this could be San Francisco, and this is what I think happens. You're going to ask guys to play so many snaps, so many downs, because you were so up against the salary cap that you wind up playing guys that don't have business playing in the NFL.
Right.
And then I think you're going to get in the back half of that schedule and you're going to look at this team and just go, my God, they have regressed to such a point. And that's my fear with New Orleans.
And Jameis's first 4-interception game, he's going to hear it. He's going to hear how he's not Drew Brees.
100%.
He's going to hear how he's ruining Sean Payton's, credibility as an offensive play caller. They're going to have some growing pains to go through when you lose a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback that you've had for however 10 plus years. I mean, he's been there forever. He's been the, epitome of consistency. So I just don't see that far of a drop off, but that's me looking at the team overall. And I think if you go game by game on the schedule, you can end up with them having 3 to 5 wins on the season.
I mean, you're the highest on the staff. You have them at 6-11.
Yeah.
You are the highest of anybody on this staff.
It's not like I gave them a glowing review for the year.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They finished dead last in the division. And guess what? I agree with you. I have them 3-14 tied with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
I think this year is going to go ridiculously poorly for New Orleans. However, here's the bright, shiny day of that. With New Orleans being this bad, I actually think next year's quarterback class is a little better than a lot of other people do. Maybe I'm biased because we do work for a North Carolina affiliate, and I've seen a lot of Sam Howell, who committed to Florida State and then said, yeah, I'm still bitter as hell about that. But
bad decisions.
I do like – I think this is going to be a blip year. And it's not the first one the Saints have had. The year that Sean Payton was out for the Bounty Gate thing, every team comes to a screeching halt at some point.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not a screeching halt. Sometimes it's a slow trickle. With New Orleans, you kicked the can down the road so far on the salary cap that this was doomed to happen eventually. Yeah. I just think it happens this year. But I'm going to be honest with you. I still think Sean Payton's one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah.
I still like pieces that you have. It's just going to be building through the draft down the line, adding depth pieces, replacing expensive guys with inexpensive rookies. And I think they're going to do that in very short order. I just think this is going to be an ugly year.
Yeah, and we do have to remember that we're not, we're talking about records here. We're not talking about these teams as a whole. So in other years, we might think these teams are capable of going 500, having some more wins than we have them for. We've got a lot of good teams in the NFC that we have with double-digit wins. I think coming up, we've got 3 teams in the NFC West that we all have with double-digit wins. So the losses have to come from somewhere. I mean, we've got a lot of good teams, and some of the teams that have been consistently in that range, we have to look at, who lost more pieces than other teams and where these wins are going to come from for these teams that we think are that class of the NFC. And unfortunately, some of those wins came from the Saints, the Falcons, some of these teams that have been perennially contenders in the NFC South.
It's New England Patrioting. Unfortunately, I think the New Orleans Saints are going to get got right as the New England Patriots do. For Tommy Bradley, I'm Jeremy Greene. This has been the Sportsocracy's 2021 win-loss projection for the New Orleans Saints. Be sure to click like and subscribe so you'll know every time we go live, including 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here from the Wicked Weed Studios with the Sportsocracy Morning Show. As always, we're brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Well, that should good and piss off one fan base at me.
Or a couple.
Or a couple. Could be a couple.
Nothing new.
Could be a couple for me. Only one for you, though. I think you were reasonable about everybody. I mean, I think we were both reasonable, but
I'm a reasonable
I think
guy.
you were nice. I think you were nicer than me. I've never been called the nice guy.
True. At Jay Greene ESPN for all your hate mail.
That's fine. Find me on Twitter at JGreenESPN. Find us right here on the Sportsocracy's YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe so you know every time we go live, including every weekday, right here in the Wicked Weed Studios for the Sportsocracy Morning Show. For Tommy Bradley, I'm Jeremy Greene, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different.